Number 10. Mariah Carey. This celebrity feud is legendary, so it's only fair that we start off with this one. J-Lo and Mariah Carey have been at each other's throats since the early 2000s. In fact, most people remember the iconic line that Mariah told a German reporter, "I don't know her." Although it sounds hilarious, Mariah has maintained her negative opinion of J-Lo all these years. For example, an interviewer once asked her what she thought about Beyonce and Jennifer Lopez, and she responded by saying that they don't even belong in the same category for a very specific reason. Well, it's hard. You can't really put those two people in the same category because one is in a really different generation. They just started singing later. But when you talk about Beyonce, I think she's wonderful, she's great, she's a talented person. But it seemed that she forgot to compliment J-Lo as well. A few years later, Carey spoke to Andy Cohen and doubled down on her comments. Quote, "I don't know her, what am I supposed to say?" It looks like it'll take a miracle for these two iconic performers to ever be on good terms. Number 9. Rihanna. There are several celebrities who can't stand Jennifer Lopez, but one of the biggest critics of the iconic singer is Rihanna. These two former best friends had a serious falling out in 2016 for the oldest reason in the book. They were fighting over the same guy. Before the feud began, Rihanna and J-Lo were friendly to each other and had no reason for animosity. But trouble started brewing right after Rihanna and Drake broke up. They had a summer fling that same year, which was pretty casual, but it definitely still counted. Girl code was broken when J-Lo started getting close with Drake almost immediately after. But the feud really became public when Jennifer posted a photo of her and Drake hanging out backstage at her show in Las Vegas with the caption #LoveHim. In fact, the two were even spotted hugging, and fans quickly realized that something very shady was happening. An inside source close to the star said that Riri felt like she had suffered the ultimate betrayal and called Jennifer's behavior desperate. It must have been accurate because in December of 2016, she suddenly unfollowed Lopez on Instagram. Number 8. Gloria Estefan. Cuban-American superstar Gloria Estefan was originally supposed to be performing at the 2020 Super Bowl alongside fellow Latina pop stars J-Lo and Shakira. But after seeing J-Lo's new documentary called Halftime, where the singer went on a rant about having to share the stage with Shakira, Gloria put her comments on blast. She didn't seem to agree that it was the worst idea ever to have the artist share the stage, and explained why Lopez got it wrong on Watch What Happens Live with Andy Cohen. Quote, "Look, this is the bottom line. You have very little time, like 12 minutes or something, to get things on and off the set. So could you do it with one person? Yes. But I think they wanted to throw a Miami and Latin extravaganza, and they tried to pack it in as much as possible." The Grammy Award winner also confirmed that she chose not to participate for a reason, seeing as J-Lo got so worked up about having two people perform. Quote, "Okay, and imagine what J-Lo would have said if I was the third. I literally would come out, done a shake your booty and out." But she went on to insist that it was their moment and that she didn't want to go on a diet in December anyway. Number 7. Nick Cannon. The Wild and Out star took a cue from his ex-wife Mariah Carey's famous phrase to throw shade at Jennifer Lopez during his guest appearance on The Wendy Williams Show. While discussing Hollywood crushes during the Hot Topic segment, the 41-year-old first named Carey, his ex-wife and mother to their two twins, Moroccan and Monroe. Quote, "Number 1, Mariah, the amazing mother, superstar, singer." He then went on to name Halle Berry and Naomi Campbell as his second and third choices. A producer then suggested J-Lo as an option, and he just responded with, "I don't know her." After the audience erupted into laughter, the host added, "That was a joke for the lambs. Shout out to the lambs," as Carey refers to her fans as the Lamely. Cannon made it clear who he supports in the ongoing battle of the divas, and naturally he sided with Carey, so we can't really fault him for that. It's been a bit of a running joke for years that Mariah wasn't kidding and didn't actually know J-Lo personally when she gave that interview, but it was too late to clear the air, as the classic "I don't know her" line has gone down in history as one of the best ways to shade someone. Number 6. Rosie Perez. Both Jennifer Lopez and Rosie Perez have served as inspirations to the Latin community for over 2 decades, but they haven't always gotten along. They met back in 1991 during an open casting call for In Living Color. At the time, Perez was the show's choreographer, and Lopez was auditioning to become a member of the dance troupe known as the Fly Girls. Her audition was unsuccessful, but Perez saw a star quality in JLo and actually pulled some strings to get her in. But after she was in the group, it became clear that Lopez didn't get along with her fellow dancers. According to Perez, she was labeled as a diva right away. All of the girls were coming into my office and complaining how she was manipulating wardrobe, makeup, and me, all to her advantage. Perez said that at first she didn't believe it, but then JLo screamed at her saying, "I know I'm good, I'm better than any of these girls and you know it." What's worse is, after JLo left the show and made it big in the music industry, she went on talk shows trashing her former choreographer. Perez also implied that JLo ghosted her. Quote, "I called her up, she wouldn't pick up. Frustrated, I left her an irate message on her answering machine. Instead of calling me back and hashing it out like friends do, she went on a major talk show and reiterated my lashing." Number 5. Brandy. Brandy has had a public feud with Jennifer Lopez since 2017, and according to Kiwi Report, she made it clear that she supports Mariah Carey going against JLo too. Basically, she posted a photo of herself on Instagram hugging Carey with the hashtag #SheKnowsMe. The caption was super perfect and a great reference to that famous "I don't know her" comment. So the whole thing tells us that Brandy is totally teaming with Mariah. Brandy's post exploded on social media and Lopez fans immediately took offense to it. Mariah saw the backlash and chimed in to Brandy's photo, commenting with a simple "I sure do." But the singer was quick to defend herself from hate comments and edited the caption shortly after posting it with, quote, "Oh my god, what happened? I swear to goodness, I don't know what the fuss is about. I love this pic and now everyone thinks I'm throwing shade. At who? This is funny, can't take this one down. I love this picture and whenever I'm throwing shade, it's not questionable. You know that I am." She totally doubled down on dissing Jennifer and siding with Mariah, adding, quote, "Also, I've met her several times. Like the several seats that should be taken, she does know me." Number 4. Nicki Minaj. These two have allegedly been feuding since 2012. It all started when Nicki was performing on one particular episode of American Idol at the same time that JLo was sitting on the judge panel. In a rather awkward moment, Nicki asked if she could come back on the show as a guest judge and asked JLo to scoot over. As a Latina artist hit back, she said, "I don't know if there's room for both of us." It was one of those joking moments that seemed like there was something else behind it, but nevertheless the two seemed to be just joking around, even though Nicki told a reporter backstage, quote, "She didn't seem to be having it, but she's gonna have it." Okay, so now we're jumping to 2015 when fans swear that Nicki shaded JLo for performing her song at the American Music Awards. As she was performing a small part of Anaconda, the camera cut to Nicki in the audience looking less than happy with the rendition. The clip showed her emotionless face and made it seem like she didn't approve of the way her song was being used. Number 3. Ryan Seacrest. This incident gives Ryan every reason to hate JLo because it's pretty bad. Ryan Seacrest worked alongside the singer on American Idol and the two quickly became friends. But all that seemingly changed when the talk show host revealed that he flew down to Miami to celebrate her milestone 50th birthday, only to be denied entry at the door. Ouch. He recalled the whole story on Live with Kelly and Ryan and explained that he flew down from New York for only a few hours because he had to make it back in time for the next morning's show. But when he finally arrived, the doorman told him, "You're not on the list," to which he responded, "Clearly, there's a mistake. She invited me personally." But upon being denied, he checked the list and couldn't find his name. The doorman just asked him to wait, made a quick call, and was able to confirm that Seacrest was indeed on the guest list. But the host went on to say that he was the first person there and no one really got turned up until after he left. It would have certainly been a little embarrassing to say the least. Number 2. Cameron Diaz. Throughout the years, Jennifer Lopez has been known to speak negatively about her fellow actors, and it looks like it may have come back to bite her. During an interview in the late 90s, JLo explained that Cameron Diaz was just a lucky model who was given opportunities. She did mention that Diaz can be good when directed, but Lopez's past comments about Cameron's career allegedly made things super awkward between them when when they both had to buckle down and work together in the 2012 comedy What to Expect When You're Expecting. Several anonymous sources on the set of the film claim that the two stars did not get along at all during the shoot. In fact, it was reported that Cameron said the singer was a nightmare to work with. Quote, she even said that Jen should stick to her day job, meaning American Idol and singing. According to The Insider, J.Lo demanded to eat at specific times, no matter what, and stops working when it suits her, and she had her assistant run over to her with food. This is what allegedly drove Cameron crazy. Another source claimed that the co-stars actively avoided one another while filming, and tensions were thick. Number 1. Ojani Noah. The former couple were married on February 22nd, 1997, and got divorced barely 1 year later, in January of 1998. It was so long ago that you would think Ojani has moved on from the relationship, but apparently he's still holding on to a bit of resentment. In fact, Jennifer's former flame was out to make a buck off their brief marriage by trying to expose revealing videos from their honeymoon. Ojani was even hauled into court after he started planning a tell-all movie based on the revealing home footage called How I Married Jennifer Lopez, the J.Lo and Ojani Noah story. The result? Well, she sued him for a whopping $10 million and demanded a permanent court order blocking her ex from making any videos public. Ojani also threatened to write a tell-all book unless he was paid $5 million by the singer. His unpublished book alleges that J.Lo had multiple affairs, including one with Mark Anthony, during the 11 months that they were married. But a judge was not having it and awarded her $545,000 in damages and quashed the book, ruling that it violated a 2004 deal not to publish details of their relationship. Her team calls the movie an outrageous attempt to make money and received substantial compensation. So it's clear that he's still a little bit bitter.
First up, of course, we have Mariah Carey. Even if you're not familiar with many of J.Lo's feuds, I'm sure you know that Mariah Carey hates her. That's because Mariah has not been shy about throwing shade in her direction. These two have been feuding ever since J.Lo started to make music, and started to steal her shine. Then when Mariah was asked about Lopez in an interview, she famously replied, quote, I don't know her. Years later, when Andy Cohen brought up the beef on his show Watch What Happens Live in 2014, Jennifer Lopez played the whole thing off, saying, quote, I don't have a feud against her at all. I know from back in the day, I've read things that she said about me that were not the greatest, but we have never met. Like, we don't know each other. I would love to meet her, and I would love to be friends with her. But then J.Lo was a little more savage on the Wendy Williams show when asked about the feud in 2016. Lopez said, quote, she's forgetful, I guess, we've met so many times. But Carey doubled down in another interview where she added that she still doesn't know Jennifer Lopez. When Mariah had a mishap of her own during a disastrous New Year's Eve performance, Lopez took a break from the high road and liked an extremely shady tweet about Mariah. The tweet said, quote, ever seen an accident you couldn't take your eyes away from? That was her tonight. If you're wondering where this feud started, it all goes back to Mariah's ex-husband and music executive, Tommy Mottola. After getting married in 1993, Carey divorced Mottola in 1998 because he was very controlling. And to get back at her, Mottola started up J.Lo's career and did everything possible to make J.Lo a star, instead of Mariah. J.Lo sampled a number of Mariah-esque songs. There were even allegations she straight up copied some of Mariah's songs, but tried to make them more of a hit. All because of Mottola. But Mariah knows she still came out on top, adding, quote, after all that shit, Loverboy ended up being the best-selling single of 2001 in the United States. So basically the whole feud is over career competition and the fact that Lopez was in cahoots with Carey's controlling ex. Rosie Perez. You'd think that J.Lo and Rosie Perez would be great friends, considering how much they have in common. Both women are dancers, are Puerto Rican, and grew up in New York. But the pair are not close, and it would be more accurate to say that they actually hate each other. According to Perez's 2014 memoir, Handbook for an Unpredictable Life, she has plenty of negative stories to share about J.Lo. In her memoir, Perez shared a story from the set of In Living Color. She wrote about Lopez, quote, all of the girls were coming into my office complaining how she was manipulating wardrobe, makeup, and me, all to her advantage, and added she was acting like, quote, some ghetto bitch, screaming and pounding her chest. J.Lo ended up leaving that show after 2 seasons, but the feud between the pair continued, and Perez claimed that Lopez would speak negatively about her whenever she got the chance. Even worse, Lopez was allegedly two-faced. She would talk trash behind Perez's back, but be nice to her face. Brandy. In the midst of the Mariah and J.Lo feud, Brandy publicly supported Mariah, making it clear she does not like J.Lo. In July of 2017, Brandy took to Instagram to share a photo of herself hugging Mariah Carey with the caption, #SheKnowsMe. an obvious reference to Mariah's infamous "I don't know her" comment about J-Lo. All the comments were flooded with people speculating over the caption, and the consensus quickly became that the photo was a dig at J-Lo. However, Brandy later addressed the caption, writing, quote, "Oh my god, what happened? I swear to goodness, I didn't know what the fuss is about. I love this pic and now everyone thinks I'm throwing shade. At who? This is funny. Can't take this one down. I love this picture and whenever I'm throwing shade, it's not questionable, you know that I am." Later adding that Mariah does in fact know her. Mariah supported the post by commenting, quote, "I sure do." Even though Brandy is trying to convince us it's nothing shady, I honestly don't believe it. Next up, Nicki Minaj. It's long been rumored that Jennifer Lopez is a huge diva, and the fight that her and Nicki Minaj had while on American Idol brought up both of their diva sides. In 2012, Lopez was a judge on American Idol while Nicki came on to perform, and things got tense fast. After Nicki finished performing, she went over to the judges table and asked, quote, "I was hoping maybe I could come back and be a guest judge. J-Lo, can you scoot over a little bit?" J-Lo then responded, quote, "I don't know if there's enough room for both of us." Then Minaj took it up another notch backstage when she said, quote, "She didn't seem to be having it, but she's gonna have it." But she later added, quote, "We were just joking around." But it's clear the bad blood is still there. When Lopez performed at the 2015 AMAs, she sang a part of Minaj's song Anaconda. But I don't think Nicki got the memo that it was going to be happening, because when the camera panned to Nicki, she did not look happy. Fans totally saw the shade and started tweeting about it that night. Rihanna and J-Lo started feuding right around the time that J-Lo was seen getting cozy with Rihanna's ex, Drake. This all happened in 2016 when J-Lo and Drake took a photo backstage at J-Lo's concert. Once the photos came out, everyone assumed that they were dating, which probably got the attention of his exes. A lot of fans felt the whole thing was most likely a publicity stunt, but Rihanna took the rumors pretty seriously and lashed out online because of it. A source said at the time that Rihanna suffered, quote, "the ultimate betrayal," and dubbed Lopez desperate and a traitor. This was because Rihanna and J-Lo were really tight at one point, and Rihanna even got support from J-Lo during rough times with Drake. Then in December of 2016, Rihanna unfollowed J-Lo on Instagram, making her stance very clear. Jenna Dewan. When the pair starred alongside each other on World of Dance, they seemed like they got along great. Lopez was a producer and a judge, while Dewan was a host and mentor on the show. But sources revealed that when the camera stopped rolling, the women hated each other. One source said about their relationship, quote, "Jenna can't stand Jen's over-the-top theatrical fakery. Jen never fails to ham it up when the cameras are rolling, and she hijacks the show. It seems she'd prefer if Jenna just stayed in the background." The insider continued that J-Lo is a micromanager who tells everyone else what to do. Because of all her input, Jenna felt excluded and felt like her voice was not heard. Although there is a chance that this feud is not accurate, because when Dewan's team was asked about the feud rumors, they denied them. Ojani Noah. Jennifer Lopez has been married 3 times before. Her first and shortest marriage was to Cuban waiter Ojani Noah. Although their relationship ended in 1998, it's clear that Noah cannot stand her, and whenever asked about Lopez, he does not hold back his negative feelings. Back in 2006, he was actually set to release a juicy tell-all book about Lopez called The Unknown Truth, a passionate portrait of a serial thriller. But before it was set to be published, Lopez was able to stop it with a lawsuit. She argued that publishing the book broke their confidentiality agreement, and the courts agreed. From that lawsuit, she won $545,000 in damages, and Noah was forbid from criticizing or casting in a negative light or otherwise disparaging Lopez. Noah's name was brought up once again when he threatened to leak an intimate tape of the two of them on their honeymoon. Lopez then filed a $10 million lawsuit against him. When asked why the relationship ended, Noah blamed Lopez, saying, quote, "I was looking forward to being with her for the rest of my life. It didn't happen. She made the choice of her career instead of me." And finally, Jennifer Lopez herself. Nobody has done more to warn us about J-Lo's sketchy behavior than herself, and some of the things she's done in the past are too terrible to ignore. Back when she tried to score a role in competition with actress Claire Danes, J-Lo said some harsh things about her competition, saying that Claire Danes does the quote, "same thing with every character she does." Then Lopez bashed Winona Ryder, saying that she was not a big fan of her work. And finally, Lopez took aim at Gwyneth Paltrow, saying, quote, "Tell me what she's been in. I swear to God, I don't remember anything she was in. Some people get hot by association. I heard more about her and Brad Pitt than I ever heard about her work." Then in a different interview, Lopez decided to take aim at Madonna, specifically bashing Madonna's attempt at acting. Quote, "Do I think she's a great performer? Yeah. Do I think she's a great actress? No. Acting is what I do, so I'm harder on people when they say, oh, I can do that, I can act. I'm like, hey, don't spit on my craft." Aside from dishing out unnecessary shade to other celebrities, Lopez also has a reputation for being incredibly rude to service people. One United Airlines employee told the press how much of a diva she was during her flight. Apparently he asked if she wanted a drink and she replied, quote, "I just said, what can I get you to drink?" But Jennifer refused to even acknowledge me. She turned her head away and told her personal assistant, "Please tell him I'd like a Diet Coke and lime." Even though the stewardess was trying to serve her what she wanted, she refused to look. It made her assistant speak for her. It's so ridiculous and an unnecessary power play. But this interaction is nothing compared to the maid that was fired for asking JLo for an autograph. The maid later spoke with media and said she asked JLo's 2 assistants, who rejected the autograph. Then a day later, the hotel said that Lopez complained about the incident, and that maid was fired.
JLo is being slammed online for her behavior in an interview on the Met Gala steps. JLo was a co-chair for the 2024 Met Gala and wore an eye-catching beaded Schiaparelli gown to the charity event. She was seen smiling and posing on the carpet, but not everyone received that megawatt smile. TikToker Annika Reed was present at the Met as an interviewer on the side. She was up close and personal with the stars and got some great shots of the celebs as they ascended the carpet. She was also close enough to ask celebs questions as they were heading up. And it seems not everyone was happy about that. As JLo was making her way past Reed, Reed shouted, "Who are you wearing tonight?" Pretty standard red carpet question, but JLo appeared less than impressed. With only a glance over, JLo responds with a quick Schiaparelli before continuing up. When Reed posted the video to her TikTok, the caption suggests she didn't mind JLo's response, but the comment section sure did. Many people calling JLo out for being rude. One person saying Reed receiving a rude JLo interaction was the JLo experience. Another person writing, "Ew, why she have that attitude?" In comparison to other celebs who met Reed's questions with big smiles and the occasional full-length interview, JLo's reaction does make her appear as the outlier. The Met Gala isn't the first major event where JLo was criticized for her actions on the carpet. Glam bots have increased in popularity over the years for good reason. They are the perfect way to showcase a celeb's look and almost always make people look amazing. A glam bot of JLo was posted for her birthday in 2022, but the video did not garner the response the poster probably hoped for. In the video, we can see Cole, the person who runs the glam bot, explaining to Jennifer as she walks up what is going to happen with the camera, just how it all works basically. Jennifer appears to be uninterested in what he's saying or distracted from other people talking about red carpets. We know that they are pretty fast paced, kind of like go go go, so maybe JLo really had somewhere to be or there was a big lineup so she was trying to keep a schedule. We never will know. The ending of the video does not paint her in the best light. As part of her glam bot, the singer's movements involved taking a step to the side, and then that step turned into her walking off. It's not shown if she said goodbye to Cole or anyone else working on the glam bots, but it doesn't appear that way. So naturally, people are pretty upset about it and leaving their thoughts in the comment section. One person writing, "She doesn't look very friendly." Another commenting, "Not her immediately walking away." Cole did film a glam bot behind the scenes for this particular video where he explained the situation, saying they had very limited time, about 30 seconds, and he wasn't expecting to see JLo. So it was an in and out kind of situation. Back in October of 2023, JLo was photographed throwing up a rude gesture to paparazzi. The singer was photographed out with her husband Ben Affleck in the morning, and she was not very happy about it. Like many people online said though, can you blame her? She just wanted to head out for a quick breakfast with her husband and was instead hounded by cameras. Expressing her frustration, JLo threw up her middle finger at the paparazzi with a tight-lipped half smile. The photo went viral online and the response was half and half. Some people said she was being rude and the behavior was unacceptable. Others were more forgiving towards the star, bringing up that even Hollywood stars deserve privacy and are real people too. It's unclear if JLo was prompted to do the action just because of the situation or if something happened or was said to cause it. Jennifer Lopez attended the Grammys with new husband Ben Affleck in 2023, and the two were caught on camera looking less than pleased with each other. The X account Chicks in the Office posted a video of the couple with the caption, "Someone please check on Ben Affleck." The video posted was about 30 seconds and it features host Trevor Noah sitting beside the couple. Since he was seated directly next to them and talking, the couple either didn't realize the camera was on them or the moment was a very believable bit. In the clip, you can see JLo speaking to Affleck in what looks like it could be a stern tone. As the camera gets closer, JLo lightly hits Affleck's chest before giving him a displeased look and turning away looking frustrated. Affleck also is looking a bit disgruntled for the remainder of the video. Once Jennifer does turn around and realize where the camera is, she starts laughing and smiling again. Ben offers a little half smile but mainly keeps a straight face. Interesting video of JLo seemingly flirting has made the rounds on social media. The video is weird, I don't know how else to put it. It's a heavily slowed down shot of JLo making a funny face towards someone behind her. The camera pans to someone who looks like a DJ. There are over 25,000 comments on the video and lots of them are saying JLo is flirting with the person. One person writing, "So disrespectful, poor Ben." The video was posted in May of last year and people are also up in arms about this video since JLo is standing directly beside her future husband Ben Affleck. Other angles of the moment show JLo jamming out to the music. Even Ben offered a little shuffle and that's when JLo looked the DJ's way. The clip is from the premiere of JLo's 2023 movie The Mother. JLo went viral when on-set footage resurfaced of her spitting gum into an assistant's hand. The video was taken about 6 years ago now, and yet it still causes a stir every once in a while. Reposted all across the internet, the 20-second video shows JLo, presumably on the set of a TV or film. I'm guessing that the cameras are about to roll, but JLo is chewing gum, the method of choice chosen to get rid of that gum, and the situation appears to be spitting it directly in someone's hand. After the video went viral, again, people started pointing out that they are on a street and a major movie set. A trash can has to be nearby, or at least a tissue. Some people have commented on the clip when it was posted to a TikTok page, pointing out that JLo has a purse in her hand. Were there no tissues in there? People are just generally upset and mildly disgusted by the action. One person commenting, "I have never been in a situation where I felt the need to spit anything into someone's hand. I would swallow the gum before I would do something so disgusting." Those arguing in favor of JLo have brought up that the behavior is common on film sets, but the biggest player coming to JLo's defense in the situation is actually the assistant in the video. She took to her ex social media account to set the record straight. She clarified that there was a tissue in her hand and she requested that JLo spit the gum in her hand. She also said that there were large crowds present and it was winter and they were waiting for a light to change so that they could film, so there were a lot of factors that made this situation one where they had to move quickly. The assistant noted that spitting the gum in her hand was the most efficient solution at the time. Much to the displeasure of the star, the paparazzi can't seem to get enough of JLo. A video of Jennifer interacting with paparazzi was posted to TikTok in November of 2023, and like most of the other ones, she is not happy to be there. At the start of this video, we can hear the pop in question congratulate her and Ben. From that, and when this video was posted, I'm assuming the congratulations were about the pair's wedding a few months prior. Though the pop is trying to speak positively, JLo is still quite upset being followed around. As she is getting into her car, we can hear JLo say something along the lines of, "Nobody likes leaving their house and having you guys follow them every single day," finishing off her statement with a final, "Nobody likes that," as she continues getting in her car. The paparazzi filming can be heard saying, "I understand, Jennifer, I get you," as they continue to get closer to the star. Other footage released of the encounter shows an annoyed-looking JLo and Ben. The spotlight was stolen by a couple's argument at the premiere of JLo's 2023 movie, The Mother. JLo and her future husband Ben Affleck were photographed and filmed on the red carpet, and they did not seem overjoyed to be there. The pair appeared to be arguing with each other on the carpet. It's unclear what about. It could be something serious or something simple, like where they're going to stand next. They were pointing somewhere in the distance, so maybe they were debating whether or not to go inside. Regardless, the two look like they are exchanging heated words in front of the camera. The clip ends with Affleck moving off screen, likely giving JLo her moment with the cameras, as it was her movie after all. This clip is from the same premiere that the Flirting clip was from. Paparazzi caught JLo after she was locked out of her gym, and the star was not happy about it, directing the F-bomb their way before she left in her car. In a clip posted to Daily Mail's TikTok, the Jenny from the Block singer can be seen running to her upscale gym's front door in bright neon yellow workout clothes. Only when she gets there, she is left waiting outside, the door is locked, and no one is coming to answer. I mean, this would be frustrating for anyone, but the star also has all the cameras watching her to deal with. Naturally, she grows aggravated and gives up the wait, getting back into her car. The pops get a bit closer to the star as she's trying to enter the car. You can hear the star tell them to go away. JLo leaves the pops with an "F you, bye." The video ends before we can see her car drive off. A clip from JLo's new documentary of the singer talking about award-winning dancer and choreographer Hough went viral online because it appears that JLo is trying to move his wedding plans around to accommodate her movie. That sounds really bad, but that is absolutely what it looks like from the short clip. J.Lo is seen talking with people on her team. It looks like she is looking for someone to either choreograph or be in the movie, and she wants a good dancer. Professional dancer and Dancing with the Stars performer Val is brought up as a choice, but J.Lo isn't feeling it. She very clearly wants Derek. She says, "I mean, I know Val was available, but I want you to call Derek." She then goes on to say that she only needs him for 1 or 2 days. But as a member of her team quickly points out, he was busy because he was in a wedding. It was revealed by Derek at the premiere that it wasn't just any wedding, it was his wedding. Well, he revealed he received a call from J.Lo in the middle of planning his wedding, so people connected the dots from there. In the clip that went viral, J.Lo is unyielding and insists that Derek be called anyway. After the movie came out, Derek joined E! News for an interview where he clarified that J.Lo did not make him change his schedule, she flipped her schedule around for him. He also went on to say that J.Lo provided guidance and help while he was planning his wedding.
Number 10. Sharing the stage. J.Lo didn't hold back when it came to her opinion on sharing the stage with Shakira at the 2020 Super Bowl halftime show. In her newly released documentary called Halftime, she labeled it as the worst idea in the world. Quote, "If it was going to be a double headliner, they should have given us 20 minutes. That's what they should have effing done." Basically, it turns out that Jennifer was frustrated with the NFL for booking 2 headliners and making them share the same amount of time that any solo performer would receive, as opposed to doubling it and giving the women extra time to shine. As a result, fans slammed the artist for coming off as entitled. While it's true that they only gave the performers 6 minutes each, the action-packed show garnered immense praise from fans across the globe, with many fans commending the women for showcasing their Latin heritage so brilliantly. What J.Lo was really mad about though is that previous solo headliners like Beyonce and The Weeknd received 14 minutes to perform, but judging by her complaints, it's clear that she feels offended that they asked her to share the stage at all. Number 9. Cheating allegations. Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck have had an on-again, off-again romance that has been going on since the 2000s, with fans even nicknaming the couple Benifer. I mean, these two just got married this year, after they first got engaged nearly 2 decades ago, but the timeline of their relationship is a huge red flag and included alleged cheating. So in July of 2002, Lopez filed for divorce from her second husband, Chris Judd, citing irreconcilable differences. But this news broke just months after Lopez had wrapped the movie Glee alongside her then boyfriend Ben. Even though she vehemently denied cheating rumors, Ben took out an ad in The Hollywood Reporter gushing about Lopez before her divorce wasn't yet finalized. In fact, even Chris Judd's father, Larry, spoke out against the couple and accused J.Lo of being unfaithful to his son. He insinuated that the affair started during the filming of Glee. Quote, "I thought Mr. Affleck would honor a married woman and not just go right into the trailer," and added that she'd be happier if she'd just tell the truth and no one in her little circle is going to say one negative thing to her. But we'll never really know the truth of what happened. Number 8. Music theft. The star has been accused of stealing and borrowing background tracks and vocals from other artists for years. One of the stars who accused her of doing this was Usher in 2005. He claimed that she stole a song that he cast aside while recording his hugely successful album called Confessions. Usher claimed that J.Lo's single Get Right is actually a re-recorded version of Ride, a song that he co-wrote the year before, which was only available online. He said, quote, "I hate it, but I'd better get some of the publishing rights or else. I didn't put it on my album because I couldn't get it right, but I didn't expect J.Lo to just take it." And apart from being accused of stealing the same sample song that Mariah Carey used for Loverboy, J.Lo was also given songs that were initially intended for Ashanti, which is why a lot of people claim what happened between the two artists was straight up music theft. In September of 2001, Lopez released I'm Real from her second studio album, J.Lo, that she worked on with Irv Gotti, but the song was already recorded and mixed with Ashanti's vocals, which is why you can still hear her background vocals in Lopez's version. Number 7. Makeup artist feud. Scott Barnes, who worked for J.Lo for the past 20 years, has had to deal with so much of the star's crazy hot and cold behavior. In the mid-2000s, the star essentially banished her longtime makeup artist, Scott Barnes, after rumors surfaced that someone had leaked info to the press about her and Marc Marc Anthony's secret marriage ceremony. Speaking on the Jeff Probst show in 2012, when asked about how J.Lo treated him, he said, quote, "It was like I had the plague." But interestingly enough, eventually she ended up giving Barnes his old job back again after learning the truth, but apparently failed to apologize for being so cold and ruthless towards him. I mean, she literally cut him off without a word and blamed him for the leak without even confronting him. Barnes went on to say, quote, "I went right back to work with her and we just never spoke about it again," which is even weirder. The funny thing is, her celebrity makeup artist would go on to work with her for another 6 years and insisted that they remain on good terms despite the fact that she ghosted him and didn't even apologize for it. Number 6. The Marc Anthony romance. Celebrity gossip magazines could not get enough of the power couple in the early 2000s. They were absolutely everywhere and it seemed like fans loved the pairing. But their beginnings as a couple were super questionable to say the least. Anthony married former Miss Universe Dayanara Torres in 2000, while Lopez was dating Ben Affleck roughly around the same time. But the on-again, off-again couple picked their romance back up while Anthony was still married to Dayanara. So less than a week after Anthony's divorce was finalized, the couple surprised fans by getting married in a small, casual ceremony in her Beverly Hills home in early June. It really begs the question of whether or not J.Lo was some kind of homewrecker, because the timeline of the rekindled relationship seems really off. I mean, he actually broke Dayanara's heart, and she said, quote, "You go through hell. I cried until there were no tears left, until I was numb. I didn't want to eat, I didn't care to get dressed or take a shower, I just wanted to lie there." Anthony's feelings for Jennifer might have been there all along because the two had history, but he should have put way more thought into who he chose to marry in the first place. So in a way, they're both at fault here. Number 5. Insensitive comments. To give you some background on why everyone felt that J.Lo was trashing belly dancing. So a part of the 2020 Super Bowl performance featured young dancers sitting in glowing cages, which many people assume represented the immigrant children in cages at the US border. But she apparently had a hard time convincing the NFL to do this, and said, quote, "I'm trying to give you something with substance, not just us out there shaking out effing asses and effing belly dancing." She went on to say that she wants something real, something that's gonna make a statement, something that's gonna say we belong here and we have something to offer. Now, if you're confused about why that was so controversial, essentially she compared the art of belly dancing to just shaking your butt for the hell of it. In fact, that particular line was shared across Twitter and people were big mad. It was just a little culturally insensitive to say, considering the fact that the dance has long been associated with Middle Eastern cultures, and it's something that Shakira has become known for, using it to channel her father's Lebanese Syrian Arab roots. Number 4. Avoiding the Bronx. This one, train wreck of an ad campaign, led people to openly mock both Chrysler and Jennifer Lopez. The central premise of the ad was that sometimes J.Lo will drive through her old hood in the South Bronx in a Fiat 500 just to stay inspired. Although it sounds ridiculous, the marketing campaign obviously tried to draw on the singer's famous Jenny from the Block era. Most people recognize the song in which she pays tribute to growing up in the Bronx, which had been a solid part of her image since the 90s. In fact, the singer even titled her debut album On the 6, which is a clear reference to the New York subway train. A press release at the time even stated that she would be traveling through the streets of Manhattan to the Bronx where she grew up. But the ad backfired when the smoking gun reported that Lopez never actually went to the Bronx to film the ad and that a body double stand-in was used instead, calling it, quote, "such a breathtaking assemblage of urban cliches," and that was putting it lightly. Number 3. The movie line interview. The infamous movie line interview in 1998 that could have almost ruined J.Lo's career was truly worse than you can imagine. She was 27 at the time and fresh off the success of her film Selena. She basically decided to trash all the other celebrities that were big at the time and tried to trivialize their career and contribution to the industry. In fact, when asked about Madonna, she actually said, quote, "Do I think she's a great performer? Yeah. Do I think she's a great actress? No. Acting is what I do. So I'm harder on people when they say, oh, I can do that, I can act. And I'm like, hey, don't spit on my craft." It was so ironic because J.Lo would go on to do both music and acting for the rest of her career, and critics also trashed her acting on the big screen. Also, at the time, Madonna had been a star for a lot longer than J.Lo, so there was no real comparison there. And when Gwyneth Paltrow was brought up, Jennifer almost seemed to laugh and made it clear that she didn't take her fellow actress's career seriously. Quote, "Tell me what she's been in. I swear to God, I don't remember anything she was in. Some people get hot by association. I heard more about her and Brad Pitt than I ever heard about her work. Yikes. Number 2. Accusations of racism. 20 years ago, Lopez was approaching full actualization as an entertainer, but a single from her second album, J.Lo, almost derailed her career entirely. The Murder Inc. remix of I'm Real, which features Ja Rule and Own Radio in 2001, was ruined by the N-bomb that she drops in her final verse. The issue was that the song was an instant hit, so much so that 10 years later, in 2011, Billboard gave it the 6th spot on its 40 biggest duets of all time list. But rightfully so, people were outraged by her use of the loaded term, not only because she's a Latina artist, but at her level of success, where she has a platform and sets an example to young fans. Using such a derogatory word is at best offensive. But as the accusations of racism started to mount against the star, she eventually spoke out to defend her actions on the Today Show. Quote, "For anyone who thinks or suggests that I'm racist is really absurd and hateful to me." Although many people think this is not an excuse, it was later revealed that the track was actually written by Ja Rule himself, and apparently he encouraged her to say it. And number 1, fired a maid. This one is really indefensible. Jennifer Lopez allegedly got a German hotel maid fired for asking for an autograph. Frey Dodaj was a staff member at the luxury Melia Hotel in Dusseldorf, Germany, during Lopez's stay in 2012. She was a big fan of J.Lo and worked up the courage to knock on the star's hotel door in Dusseldorf to ask for an autograph, and was promptly turned away. Frey claims that she was relieved from her post the day after the incident. She told The Sun, quote, "I am an incredibly big fan, so I took all my courage and rang the doorbell to get an autograph, but I was rejected by 2 assistants at the door. A day later, the cleaning company that employed me at the hotel called and said that Ms. Lopez had complained. I was fired right there on the phone." If the incident really happened, it's hard to ignore the irony when you remember that Jennifer played a hotel maid in the movie Made in Manhattan. After receiving a rightful amount of backlash, the pop star wrote on Twitter, quote, "Come on, thought you knew me better than this, would never get anyone fired over an autograph. First I heard of this was on Twitter, #hurtful.
So for starters, J.Lo is pressuring him to do things. Now, sure, to a lot of folks it might be clear that J.Lo and Ben Affleck are blended family goals with their ex-spouses. They ensure their 5 children feel close and safe with everyone in their large family, and it seems like they're kind of antsy about welcoming another member into the family. Yeah, reportedly, they want another child together. Now, while J.Lo has repeated the sentiment for quite some time, soon after she and Ben got back together, insiders claimed that she's got baby fever. And she's talking about it non-stop. A source recently told Life and Style via Yahoo that she's been trying to convince Ben to welcome another baby via surrogacy. And recently, she finally got him to cave in. Apparently, according to our source, she nagged him until he went along with it. Ben was completely happy with the blended family they already have, but he loves kids. That's why he agreed to having another. At the end of the day, he wants Jennifer to be happy. Ooh, that doesn't sound like a healthy situation. A baby isn't just an accessory. It's a commitment. And definitely not something you should be nagged into doing. Also, he wants a more low-key life. Like, all in all, Ben Affleck tends to be a more low-key person compared to J.Lo, minus them both working in the public eye. So, J.Lo recently launched her new album, This Is Me, Now, with a self-financed $20 million multimedia campaign. Then she made the experimental film, This Is Me Now, a love story. We get it. This was about the rekindling of her romance with Ben. And then there was the Amazon Prime documentary, The Greatest Love Story Never Told, about, yep, the making of the record and the film. So when Ben pops up in the documentary, it's often to express concern that his private love story is becoming used for something he didn't particularly want. So this entire thing is actually named after a scrapbook that he gifted Jennifer for Christmas in 2021, stacked with every letter and email they'd written to each other over the last 20 years, which is something that should probably be private. Jennifer showed the book to her producers and songwriters on the first day of making her new album without asking or telling Ben. She's like, it kind of became like our Bible. We just left it there in the studio. Which, this revelation comes out within the first 5 minutes of the documentary, and right out the gate, Ben isn't shy about his discomfort. He's absolutely shocked that Jennifer would share something so personal with her collaborators. And now, of course, with the world. I get it. Art comes from making something personal. But when you're making someone intentionally uncomfortable with your art and kind of violating consent, that's not a good move. Now, yes, if you look back back at the history, J-Lo's relationships have always been in the spotlight. She's been in more than several high-profile relationships that have made headlines all over the world, so Ben should have known what he was getting back into. For example, from 2004 to 2011, she was married to Mark Anthony. They had twins, and then in 2017, she made headlines again when she was dating former New York Yankee Alex Rodriguez. Now, rumors spread that she was only going to consider marrying him if he agreed to the, crazy list of demands. Reportedly, he wasn't allowed to talk to any woman under the age of 40, which is super controlling. Gross. Also, J-Lo loved his physique and wanted a guarantee that he wouldn't let himself go once they got married. Now, sure, none of these rumors have been confirmed, but it's just a little extreme. Now, yes, we know Jen and A-Rod didn't work out because she's now married to Ben, but I'm wondering, what did he have to agree to make her happy? We already know she nagged him into possible surrogacy. What else? J-Lo at the end of the day has a reputation of being a bit of a diva. Okay, a big diva. Whereas I don't think I've ever heard about Ben making crazy demands for press tours or similar situations. Once upon a time, J-Lo had somebody fired for being a fan. So there was this maid who happened to be cleaning her room in Germany during her 2012 World Tour. And as a big fan of J-Lo, she tried to ask the star for an autograph, only to have not one, but two of J-Lo's assistants stop her. And soon after, she was out of a job, and she knew why. Literally a day later, the cleaning company that employed her at the hotel called and said that J-Lo complained, and she was fired over the phone because of asking for an autograph. Now, look, I get it, it's not the most professional thing in the world, but don't get somebody fired over it. Now, on the flip side, J-Lo herself denied the claims with one single tweet, saying, "Come on, thought you knew me better than this. Would never get anyone fired over an autograph. First I heard about this was on Twitter." Okay, sure, there's plenty of speculation there, but let's try something else. An old interview from J-Lo herself resurfaced recently, and she wasn't speaking too well about her fellow colleagues in the industry. So this is what she had to say about two major stars at the time. Gwyneth Paltrow, she was like, "Tell me what she's been in. I swear to God, I don't remember anything she was in. Some people get hot by association. I heard more about her and Brad Pitt than I ever heard about her work." She also had stuff to say about Madonna. Do I think she's a great performer? Yeah. Do I think she's a great actress? No. Acting is what I do, so I'm harder on people when they say, "Oh, I can do that. I can act." And I'm like, "Hey, don't spit on my craft." The funny thing is that this is what Jennifer said after only having Selena and Anaconda under her belt for her career. So that's kind of embarrassing, and I'm glad people are calling her out for this behavior. Now, if we want to talk more about close circle stuff, according to several of J-Lo's former staff members, she earned herself the nickname PayLo because she paid her staff around 50% less than they can make elsewhere. Now, this rumor's been going on for years. Let's go way back to 2003. So, yes, you guessed it, back when she was first with Ben Affleck. They were spotted in Vegas together. They had a big win, and Ben decided to drop a $2,000 tip to the dealer. But before he could, tip the generous reward, J-Lo snatched up the cash and swapped it for $200. So, does J-Lo have a reason for paying her staff so little? She's like, "I had to work hard to earn my money. So should everybody else." Yeah, that's embarrassing for her. If she had to work hard to earn her money, shouldn't she try to make it easier for others since she knows how hard it is? She just seems so entitled, and that's just gross. Don't worry, we got more. Let's go back 1 year from that. 2002. She's starring in the romantic comedy Maid in Manhattan. She's traveling all over the world promoting this romantic comedy. It's amazing, it's great, it's wonderful. And when she landed in London, she had people talking non-stop about her demands. But promoting the movie, she had a very interesting encounter with hotel staff. So she stayed at the Metropolitan Hotel, and that's where we started seeing the signs of her being a major diva. The hotel staff was kind of astounded by her lavish and extravagant demands because it reached new levels for them. Apparently, she requested that the hotel staff had to provide her with thousands of pounds of lemon-scented candles. Also, she needed limousines to escort her only 200 yards away because couldn't do anything, had to travel in style, can't walk on the sidewalk. Let's go back more to, sort of present day. In 2012, reports surfaced that Jenny from the block demanded staff working for her, "Don't make eye contact with me, don't talk to me." While having work done on her San Fernando Valley home, she demanded that none of the helpers, drivers, or contractors have any interactions with her. Yes, I know, these rumors were never confirmed, but still. And reportedly when flying first class, don't bother her. Not even if you're a flight attendant. One time, a flight attendant offered her a drink, because that's her job, and she refused to acknowledge him. She said to her assistant, "Please tell him I'd like a Diet Coke and lime." Once again, I know, these rumors have not been confirmed, but when the evidence is piling up, you really gotta think about it. Seems like she doesn't appreciate the help she gets. So, on-again, off-again relationships have a bit of a bad track record. Yes, I know, the Ben and her reunion was the big headline of 2021, and now, yes, they're a happily settled married couple. It only took them 20 years and 2 engagements to get there. For talking history speaking, their first round began in 2002. That's when they started a rom-com together. Twas cute. Ben proposed, but then they broke things off in 2004. Since then, they went on, they married other people, they had kids, they got divorced, and then they dated other people again, and then, a month after she ended things with A-Rod, welcome back. I think this is May of 2021. They got married in summer 2022, and while this is cute and all, once again, on-again and off-again relationships have a bad track record. What's to stop this couple from calling it off again? especially when you look at everything else we've talked about today. And finally, look, I know, I've already mentioned the documentary today, the This Is Me Now, the love story, but some fans who watched it afterwards had to take to social media to call out Jen for her lies. Yeah, now we're not saying the love story is fake. That's true. But in one scene, J-Lo poses in the mirror of her personal gym as she shakes out her hair and reminisces about her childhood in the Bronx. She said, "I like taking my hair out like this. It reminds me like when I was 16 in the Bronx, running up and down the block. Crazy little girl who used to be effing wild and no limits, all dreams." However, TikTok user Photos by Angela slammed the star in a series of videos, as she claimed to have gone to the same Catholic high school as J-Lo, and accused her of lying about her experience living in the Bronx. She said, "We both attended an all-girls high school in an Irish and Italian neighborhood, so you weren't running up and down the block." And this isn't the only lie. J-Lo has long been accused of not actually singing on her albums, and singer Natasha Ramos actually took to TikTok to shed light on the rumor. Now Natasha, who has a voice very similar to J-Lo's, was hired to sing the demo of Jenny from the Block, and the production team liked her voice so much that they asked her to record 5 more songs for the album. This Is Me Then? Yeah, what do you know? Natasha received $3,500 and a backup singer's credit. But as she claimed, and as the original demo demonstrates, it is her voice that appears in the final track. And not only in the choruses, it's also her laugh and her yelling, "From the Bronx!" Lopez only sings in the verse. So when you add up all these lies, I can see why Ben might be having some second thoughts.
Madonna. Superstar Madonna has been in the game since the 80s and established plenty of enduring relationships with other entertainers who've come before and after her. But that doesn't mean she hasn't had her moments where she's thrown someone the cold shoulder. In this case, Jennifer Lopez definitely deserved it because she dissed Madonna's whole career in that infamous Movie Line interview in 1998. Lopez was 27 at the time and fresh off the success of her film Selena. It was then that she decided to boast about her own talent in comparison to Madonna. Quote, "Do I think she's a great performer? Yeah. Do I think she's a great actress? No." She also added, quote, "Acting is what I do. So I'm harder on people when they say, oh, I can do that, I can act. I'm like, hey, don't spit on my craft." Those comments were pretty bad considering that Madonna has been a star for a lot longer than J-Lo, and at the time of the interview, there was almost no comparison between them. It seems like Madonna held on to those remarks for quite some time, because in 2009, she went on David Letterman and implied that Lopez tries to copy her by studying her looks on stage. Gwyneth Paltrow. At the time, Lopez was still fresh off the success of Selena and Anaconda, and she was explaining how she felt she was grouped into what she called the bottom of the A-list actresses. Paltrow was a star on the rise at the time, with many films under her belt such as Seven, Great Expectations, and Shakespeare in Love, which earned her a Best Actress Oscar in 1999. When Lopez was asked about Paltrow, she almost seemed to laugh and made it clear that she didn't take her fellow actress's career seriously. Quote, "Tell me what she's been in? I swear to God, I don't remember anything she was in. Some people get hot by association. I heard more about her and Brad Pitt than I ever heard about her work. If you have the goods, there's nothing to be afraid of. If somebody doesn't have the goods, they're insecure. I don't have that problem." Although Paltrow took the high road and never publicly criticized the star, when J-Lo started dating her ex-boyfriend Ben Affleck, she was reportedly very upset about the pairing and said that she didn't think Jennifer is right for him. It's easy to see why she felt that way. Scott Barnes. If you want to see just how long Lopez can hold a grudge, just ask celebrity makeup artist Scott Barnes, who's worked for her for the past 20 years. It's important to note that not all of J-Lo's feuds and shade throwing has been directed towards the rich and famous. The star essentially banished her longtime makeup artist Scott Barnes after rumors surfaced that someone had leaked info to the press about her and Mark Anthony's secret marriage ceremony. Speaking on the Jeff Probst show in 2012, Barnes revealed that the woman he considered a friend cast him aside for an entire year until it was confirmed that someone else was responsible for the leak. Quote, "It was like I had the plague." Interestingly enough, J-Lo did end up giving Barnes his old job back again after learning the truth, but apparently failed to apologize for being so cold and ruthless, which sounds exactly like something she would do. The celebrity makeup artist, who's also lent his talents to Hollywood stars including Gwyneth Paltrow, added, quote, "I went right back to work with her, and we just never spoke about it again, which is even weirder." The funny thing is, Barnes would go on to work with her for another 6 years and insisted that they remained on good terms, despite the fact that she ghosted him. He wasn't even guilty of the leak, but she cut him out of her life for a whole year. Talk about insanity. Salma Hayek. In that same interview from 1998, Lopez did not enjoy being compared to Salma Hayek. Quote, "We're in two different realms. She's a sexy bombshell, and those are the kinds of roles that she does. I do all kinds of different things." And as if trashing her career wasn't enough, the supremely confident Lopez also claimed that Hayek had been telling a few lies about the fact that she had been offered the lead role of Selena, the 1997 film based on the life of slain Texas-born superstar Selena Quintanilla. She went on to say, quote, "It makes me laugh when she says she got offered Selena, which is an outright lie. If that's what she does to get herself publicity, then that's her thing." The comments were incredibly rude and ignorant of JLo, even though she claimed they were taken out of context in an interview that she did a few years later. But in 2020, Salma Hayek opened up to Andy Cohen on Watch What Happens Live, saying that in the 90s she was offered the role of Selena before Jennifer Lopez, but she turned it down. Quote, "They offered it to me like a week after she died. It was a little distasteful. They were already planning on making this movie." So it goes to show you how gracious Salma Hayek is, because she wanted to be respectful to Selena's passing. Ashanti. While Jennifer Lopez has landed herself several platinum-selling hits since her rise to fame with her debut album, she is no stranger to causing controversy regarding how she ends up getting her songs. While Ashanti has never openly admitted to sharing a feud with Jennifer Lopez, the R&B songstress has certainly hinted that she was often overlooked because of the success. Aside from being accused of stealing the same sample song that Mariah Carey used for her song Loverboy in the same year, Lopez was also given songs that were initially intended for Ashanti, which left Ashanti feeling irritated given that she had just landed her first taste of success in the music industry around that same time. Then in September of 2001, Lopez released I'm Real, lifted from her second studio album with Gotti, but he eventually handed the track over to Lopez even though the song was already recorded and mixed with Ashanti's vocals, which is why you still hear her background vocals in Lopez's version. Ashanti said, quote, "It felt bittersweet because I was really excited because it was with JLo, you know what I mean? But I was so mad at Irv because I was like, you know I wanted that record." The whole situation between the two stars always seems bizarre and unfair, and many people believe that JLo outright stole Ashanti's vocals and passed them off as her own. Usher. JLo and Usher had a pretty big feud in 2005 over alleged music theft. The star had been accused of stealing or borrowing background tracks and vocals from other artists for years, and Usher had something to say about this. He claimed that his R&B rival stole a song that he cast aside while recording the hugely successful album Confessions. Usher said that JLo's single Get Right is actually a re-recorded version of Ride, a song that he co-wrote last year, which was only available online. When asked about the whole ordeal, the then 26-year-old said, quote, "I hate it, but I'd better get some of the publishing rights or else. I didn't put it on my album because I couldn't get it right, but I didn't expect JLo to just take it." In fact, this whole situation was partly due to producer Rich Harrison, who co-wrote the track with Usher and later decided to use it during recording sessions for JLo's upcoming album Rebirth, using the exact same vocal pattern. So JLo's song Get Right is actually a reworking of a beat Usher had created for his own album. When he scrapped his song Ride, parts of it made it into Jennifer's track and created one of the biggest dance floor hits ever. At least Usher was vocal about it, and as a result chose not to work with JLo for several years following. Howard Stern. The controversial radio host Howard Stern is JLo's biggest critic and just doesn't understand her appeal. He said so himself on his super popular radio show. Not only isn't he a fan of her music, but Stern has publicly claimed that Jennifer's been rude to him on multiple occasions, despite his friendship with people close to her, saying that he does not respect her stuck-up attitude. One of the main reasons why Lopez will never go on the Howard Stern show is because he has attacked everything from her career choices to her appearance. Both were judges on America's Got Talent at the same time, and in a red carpet interview with HLN in 2012, he said that Jennifer Lopez was more interested in promoting her career than being a proper judge. Quote, "It helped her career. She got very far. She suddenly got back on the charts and the show was good for her, and it became more about J-Lo." In 2016, Howard compared J-Lo's music to that of a homeless woman who sang a nonsensical song, and as a prank, Howard's staff took the song to pedestrians on the street and tried to pass it off as her latest hit. One of the harshest things he's ever said though was during an interview with J-Lo's ex P. Diddy, where he slammed her looks by claiming that Diddy got out at the right time due to her aging. Eva Mendes. There was a time where Eva Mendes and J-Lo comparisons were inevitable. Similar to Lopez, Eva's career began in the 90s. She started out featuring in music videos with stars like Will Smith, Aerosmith, and Pet Shop Boys. They were both Latina actors making waves in the entertainment industry in the 2000s. They've both dated A-listers and starred in big-budget blockbusters, delivering standout performances that stole the show. However, when these similarities were brought to Eva's attention, the actress was very offended at the idea and felt that it was insulting to be compared to Lopez at all. In fact, Eva even felt that her approach to acting was more serious than Lopez's in a major way, and added that J-Lo manages her career like a business as opposed to caring about her art. Quote, "I would like to think I will have a more serious career than J-Lo. We may be both of Latin origin, but that's where the comparisons stop. She manages her career like the head of a big corporation, whereas the only thing I care about is becoming the best actress possible." While Mendes has made it clear that she never respected J-Lo's career, at least her comments don't sound too personal and were probably made because she was just sick and tired of constantly being compared to the other Latina actress.
At number 10, we have Jennifer's dismissal of bad teacher actress Cameron Diaz when she made the comment that she believes Cameron is a quote, "lucky model who's been given a lot of opportunities," and how she wishes she would have done more with them. In turn, Cameron made a statement that Jennifer's behavior on set was rather cold, as she pretty much ignored her. She also described Jennifer as being someone who was hard to work with. As a clapback, Cameron further pushed that J-Lo should stick to her day job of singing. However, in the same Jennifer interview, it wasn't just Cameron that she came for. She also took shots at fellow actresses Gwyneth Paltrow and Winona Ryder. For Gwyneth, Jennifer said, "Tell me what she's been in? I swear to God, I don't remember anything she was in. Some people get hot by association. I heard more about her and Brad Pitt than I ever heard about her work." On Winona, Jennifer recalled, "I was never a big fan of hers. In Hollywood, she's revered. She gets nominated for Oscars, but I've never heard anyone in the public or among my friends say, 'Oh, I love her.'" At number 9, we have radio show host and interviewer Howard Stern, whose reasonings for not liking J-Lo comes in many forms. For one, he hates her music. Howard's typical musical vibe is 90s rock and grunge rather than early 2000s pop. But not only does Howard not enjoy Jennifer's music, he's also bashed it in the form of jokes on numerous occasions despite his attraction to fairly few pop songs in the past. In summary, it was Howard Stern's show co-host Robin who made claims while they watched her on the floor music video that radio stations were hesitant to play the song since she hadn't been charting for a while. Apparently, to further this point, he described that the relevance of J-Lo being a judge on American Idol kind of forced the song down consumers' throats, and Howard later accused Jennifer of being self-absorbed because the single debuted on American Idol. Howard further bashed her Super Bowl performance and even ridiculed Jimmy Fallon's praises for it as well. There was also the incident where Howard claims he spent the entirety of his run-in with his friend Mark Anthony, who was married to Jennifer at the time, being completely ignored. This further pushed the established reputation of Jennifer being a snotty diva. Howard's last straw was Jennifer's interview, where she was asked if she found Howard attractive, and remained silent while expressing a puking expression. Since then, Howard has not let up on the insults about her attitude, music, and business choices whenever she's brought up on his show. At number 8, we have Gloria Estefan's shade to Jennifer for her halftime documentary spiel about performing with Shakira for the 2020 Super Bowl. When Gloria admitted she chose not to participate with no regrets, she blasted Jennifer's comments about their experience when she sat down with Andy Cohen on Watch What Happens Live in June. Quote, "Imagine what J-Lo would have said if I was third. I literally would come out, done, shake your booty, and out. It was their moment. plus I didn't want to go on a diet in December. This was in light of JLo's reaction to Shakira co-headlining the sports event. Benny Medina said in the film that it was insulting of the Super Bowl to request 2 Latina artists when one had already historically done the work. Yet Jennifer was the one who was upset about splitting her time on stage, stating that they only had 5 minutes to sing all their desired songs accurately. Quote, "We have to have our singing moments. This is the worst idea in the world to have 2 people do the Super Bowl." While Jennifer and Shakira communicated about their upcoming performance, Jennifer added, "They said 12 minutes. I got a good confirmation that we could have an extra minute or 2, so now we're at like 13-14 minutes. I think Shakira, what we should have is you should have half the time and I should. If it was going to be a double headliner, they should have given us 20 minutes. That's what they should have effing done." At number 7 we have singer Brandy, who was apparently picking sides when the Lopez-Carey feud was at its peak. Brandy had shared an Instagram photo of her embracing Mariah in 2017 with a short 3-word caption of #SheKnows.me. Brandy's followers were on her like water as soon as the post was uploaded, speculating that the caption had everything to do with Mariah's famously memed "I don't know her." In response, Brandy denied there being any drama, rearranging the captions and then say, "I swear I don't know what the fuss is about. I love this pic and everyone thinks I'm throwing shade. At who? This is funny. Can't take this one down. I love this picture. And whenever I'm throwing shade, it's not questionable. You know that I am." Brandy also continued unapologetically with, "I've met her several times like the several seats that should be taken. She does know me." And if things couldn't get any shadier, Mariah made sure to clear things up in Brandy's comments with a simple "I sure do." At number 6 we have JLo's first husband, Ojani Noah. Despite their marriage being short-lived and ending as of 1998, it seems Ojani still can't stand Miss Jenny from the block. Their 9-month marriage apparently wasn't all that great, as Ojani had been working hard to slander his ex-wife's name on a number of occasions. Back in 2006, Ojani published a tell-all titled The Unknown Truth, a passionate portrait of a serial thriller. JLo halted this project with a lawsuit and claimed that Ojani was breaking their confidentiality agreement. Jennifer won $545,000 in damages, and Ojani was given a court date which forbid him from criticizing, denigrating, casting in a negative light, or otherwise disparaging Jennifer. In the next 3 years, Ojani threw himself back into news outlets when he made threats to release a sexually suggestive video of Jennifer that was filmed during their honeymoon and resulted in another $10 million lawsuit. In 2016, his appearance on $1 Million Matchmaker saw Ojani claiming he loaded the blame on Jennifer for their split and how he was looking forward to spending a lifetime with her before she chose her career over him. At number 5 we have former NBC World of Dance TV host and mentor Jenna Dewan, who sat on the panel with then executive producer Jennifer. Although the two dancers and celebrities seemed fine during the 2017 reality dance competition tapings, their animosity behind the scenes apparently ran deep. An unnamed outlet source once stated on Jenna's behalf that Jenna, quote, "can't stand Jen's over-the-top theatrical fakery," adding that Jen never fails to ham it up when the cameras are rolling and she hijacks the show. It seems she'd prefer if Jenna just stayed in the background. Every situation, even off camera, is micromanaged by JLo, and Jenna feels very excluded. This alleged feud seemed to be squashed fairly quickly though when Gossip Cop reached out to a show producer and one of Jenna's reps and was informed that the reported beef was misleading. However, given Jennifer's past, can we really be sure of this? At number 4 we have actress Rosie Perez. She and Jennifer apparently had lifelong ties with one another that seemed great on the outside. But both Puerto Rican dancers raised in New York have zero love for each other according to Rosie's 2014 Handbook for an Unpredictable Life memoir. In it, Rosie discusses working on In Living Color with Jennifer in a wickedly horrible light. Quote, "All the girls were coming into my office complaining how she was manipulating wardrobe, makeup, and me all to her advantage." Despite Jennifer dipping from ILC after 2 seasons, Rosie stuck with her words of Jennifer supposedly keeping the flame of their feud burning for years after they parted. The words on the pages of Rosie's book portrayed Jennifer to be a two-faced person who would crap on Rosie one minute but then act super sweet like nothing happened between them the next. At number 3 we have artist Rihanna, who seemed to be unimpressed by Jennifer after the star posted herself chilling with Rihanna's on-again off-again reported love interest Drake backstage at her 2016 Winter Vegas show. Naturally, Jennifer's snap captioned "Look who rolled up at my show tonight to say hi, #LoveHim" sparked massive dating rumors, and it probably didn't help that Jennifer uploaded a follow-up pic of her and Drake bear hugging and looking overly comfortable snuggling up. While many were unconvinced about the headlines, Rihanna was seemingly not here for any of it, which is why she reportedly went on to dub Jennifer as a desperate traitor. According to an unnamed insider who spoke to Touch, Rihanna had felt like she experienced the ultimate betrayal by Jennifer, since they once had a tight-knit bond where Rihanna could seek solace in Jennifer for her relationship. Rihanna did not publicly address their rumored issues, however, she did seem to throw some shade when she suddenly hit the unfollow button on JLo's Insta. At number 2 we have Nicki and Jennifer's heated back and forth jabs that started with an exchange during a 2012 American Idol episode, where Nicki performed and Jennifer was a judge. When the female rapper completed her set, she boldly asked, "I was hoping maybe I could come back and be a guest judge. J-Lo, can you scoot over a bit?" To which Jennifer immediately quipped, "I don't know if there's enough room for the both of us." Nicki seemed to hold on to that comment when she attempted to smooth things over back with The Hollywood Reporter, saying she didn't seem to be having it, but she's gonna have it. We were just joking around. However, in 2015, things were still just as messy. When Jennifer opened the American Music Awards performing a medley of songs which included Nicki's hit Anaconda, Nicki seemed to be unimpressed by her performance, as the camera gave away her emotionless expression, which told us everything we needed to know, as one fan hinted. Nicki came to Jennifer's defense at that point though, when she fired back with a tweet to a fan explaining, "I'm looking at my own face on the screen when I'm looking to the right. I turn back and look at her." At number 1, we have the iconic "I don't know her" rivalry that has been carried out for years now. This beef has been ongoing since the early 2000s, with both stars being repeatedly questioned on whether or not they actually like each other. It seems they can't really decide though. Host Andy Cohen brought up their beef on his show in 2014, where Jennifer nonchalantly played the situation off with, "I don't have a feud against her at all. I've read things she said about me that were not the greatest, but we don't know each other. I would love to meet her and I would love to be friends with her." However, she told Wendy Williams the exact opposite in 2016 for her show, explaining, "She's forgetful, I guess. We've met many times." Andy went straight to the source to speak with Mariah that same year, and in response, Mariah reiterated, "I don't know her. What am I supposed to say?" Jennifer of course took this as major shade, and when people were flaming Mariah for her quote disastrous New Year's Eve performance that winter, Jennifer threw some shade of her own by liking a post referring to Mariah's performance as a train wreck. It seems Mariah got the final laugh though, because she made it rain shade in her 2020 memoir, The Meaning of Mariah Carey, where she revealed her feud with Jennifer on top of slamming Jennifer's ex-husband and former CEO of Sony Music, Tommy Mottola, for allegedly attempting to ruin her career with Jennifer's help. Mariah claimed Tommy tried to sabotage the glitter soundtrack Firecracker, and pushed that the movie's lead single Lover did not go unnoticed by Sony executives. Mariah also added that Sony rushed to make a single for another female entertainer on their label, but rather than naming Jennifer in the allegation in her sampling of Firecracker on I'm Real that same year, Mariah just concluded with her infamous comment, finishing her statement with, "After all that ish, Loverboy ended up being the best-selling single of 2001 in the United States."